Hello, Taurians. It's Marbird. Welcome to Daughter Winter Rose. So glad to have you. We are doing a career challenges spread, which I'm really digging. They're not masculine or feminine specific. I encourage you to watch your Sun, Moon, Venus, your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs, but I mean, it could resonate anywhere. Again, if I resonate with you in any part of, if you look at only your sun sign, you might want to check out the other signs because you'll get different points of view from different people's point of view, if that makes any sense. It doesn't, but once, like I said, if something you're like, that's dead on, that's my story, watch the other signs, especially if you do your chart. Absolutely your rising, your moon, and your Venus sign, and you'll starting to pick up like, oh, that's the other person in the story, or maybe that's the third person's point of view, because it all kind of revolves when you become a reader and you start really doing all of these signs, especially like the love readings, you start seeing the thread that holds them all together. It's kind of like a wheel, like a spoke, like a hub with spokes in it. Yeah, anyways, I digress. So the first question in this spread, I do have the questions written down in front of me. Is the first thing is, what is your goal? What is your goal career-wise or in your career, whatever it is? We're just going to take it as it comes, okay? I'm using the Mystical Shaman for this. We're using 5 Oracle decks today. It's a lot of fun. Actually, 4 Oracle decks and a Tarot. The Light Seers Tarot? Yeah. Woo! There it is. Ooh. We have Jaguar and the Andean Cross. We're not doing any reversals unless it's the Tarot. The Andean Cross and the Jaguar. Yeah. See, the Andean Cross is always a portal point. It's like, what's your goal? This is like, think about it. You're sitting here at the pizza parlor or whatever, and you're like playing football with each other. This is like when people call the portal point. It's just like an energetic shift when you're able to like hop through it, and like you're in a new timeline. It's like going these rails instead of these rails, you know, the train when it splits off. It's making that decision and really walking through it, not hesitating or anything like that. This is where you're going. This is what you're heading. This is the goal, is to make it to the next level. Just think of it as like Zelda or Donkey Kong or something like that, right? Make it through the hole. You're in a whole nother level. You're going to have a bigger, badder person that you're going to have to fight, and different things you're going to have to battle, including yourself and all that other stuff. But this is where you go. And this is the person that doesn't want you to get there. This is the Jaguar. This is a lurking energy, right? This is someone that is trying to, first of all, I'm getting a lot of smoke around this Jaguar. I don't know if you can see that, smoke and mirrors. Like, hey, come this way. Hey, let's do this. Oh, you have a hangover? Yeah, we should party another night. You're feeling really, whatever you call it, like on point and productive. Maybe we should go away for the weekend. And then you're like so shitty and so whatever, or you get into a fight and now all of a sudden they have you wrapped up in like the fight and being mad or whatever and callbacks and everything like that, that you don't have the time to get through this portal. Okay, so be really careful of the people that you surround yourself. But this is absolutely, this is a person, whoever I'm talking to, the Taurians I'm speaking to, you know who this is. This is not and this could be a social circle. For sure, absolutely. This is an energy, but it's absolutely one that if you just think every time that you're doing something well and you get distracted, and it may not even, somebody might project something on you and like blame you for something just to like throw it off so it doesn't seem like they're being jealous or trying to babysit you or anything along those lines. Yeah, be really careful of this person because they're envious. They sit here and they sulk. This is a person that doesn't want to see other people succeed, much less the people that are close to them, because then it shows a mirror to them, a mirror, right, of the things that they're lacking in, or they may not be able to hold that vibration to hang out with you when you go to that new level. So this is someone that's really trying to drag you back down into your, yeah, it's a very devilish, like straight up, a very low vibrational energy that this is person, and they might be using your vices. They might be using your like, hey, want to go have a threesome? Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is a person that win at all costs, very narcissistic. I don't like it. Soul sucking, right? You might find yourself getting really sick or anxious after hanging out with this person because this is a poisonous cloud, right? Like, this is like the inking octopus, an octopus that's scared or whatever. They're operating out of that fear center, and they ink everything up and they make it very dark and very cloudy. And especially if there's somebody that knows you, they know your triggers, they know your buttons, they know your insecurities, and they know the things that you like and the candy that you like to taste or whatever it is. That's coming out really. I don't think I've ever really been this overtly sexual in a reading. So this person might be using sex for sure to be getting your attention, because when people, here's the thing, is when we have relations with people, I'm not against it by any means, but we give a lot of our power away. Our creative power, like that release, if you keep that and hold it, that's creative energy. It either creates babies, or it creates problems, or it creates things or whatever, but it's energy that's released. So when somebody takes that from you, and I say not takes it, but when you, if it's not a equal energy, like in the relationship, I'm not talking about in the sex, you might have great sex, but if they're sucking away at your soul during the daytime and you don't really get along, but you have great sex, there's a lot of energy exchange, and you are losing a lot of your power. And a lot of that, I mean, we have a hard time having willpower. You shouldn't try and make decisions after 4 p.m. or even 2 p.m. a lot of times, right? Because we're out of that brain power. So when somebody drags you out of that, it's that much, there's a re-entry point for focus and productivity and everything like that, right? And so someone can just spin you out a little bit, like just acting like really like they're pissed off about something, then it's like, oh, it's nothing, after you spent the whole afternoon like, what did I do, and all this other stuff. That's someone just spinning you out so you can spin your own energy out, so you can't focus on the things that might take you away from those people. Somebody had to hear this. All right. Okay. What's the next question? Your biggest challenge. It looks like it's this person, but let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get another. Yeah, that was a message for somebody. I know this energy. I'm very familiar with this energy. Boundaries, big boundaries, and stay quiet about your plans. Don't tell anybody about your plans. There is a sacredness of keeping something. Again, it's that keeping that energy to yourself, right? Yeah. Gray rock, everybody around you. Your biggest challenge. Okay. What's your biggest challenge? That I've done, like, let me step off my soapbox and get back into the reading position. Ooh, whoa. Interesting. What's your biggest challenge? Who am I talking to? Taurus. It's a Queen of Wands. Are we going there? I'm going to ask Spirit if we're going there. Because like with Mercury retrograde, they didn't want any other people. They didn't want any other people in the, open to possibilities, in the reading. Like it was all internal work. So I'm going to find out, is this, no. Okay. Queen of Wands, because I was wondering if it's this person over here, but it would be more of a Queen of Wands. So your biggest challenge. I love the Queen of Wands, but let's break down the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, fire, right? Oh. Okay. I'm really trying, it's like, what is this? Because the Queen of Wands, she's the mystic, she's the sexiest queen, she's the most fiery queen, she's one of the most independent queens in the deck. So what would that mean? I'm like, what is the challenge here? Is it too fiery? I'm going to go ahead and get another, clarify this. Why is the Queen, yeah, we're going to do that. Why is the Queen of Wands the biggest challenge? Money. Desire. As I see the screen flicker, it's desire. So the Queen of Wands magnetizes things to her, right? She goes out, she doesn't go well, she doesn't go out. She magnetizes. I feel like maybe is it too much excitement, too much fire, too much passion towards finances might be the issue here. Like wanting to attract, like maybe trying to use the law of attract. Okay, trying to magnetize. What is the Queen of Wands? You're trying to magnetize, maybe you're trying to magnetize a lot of people. Maybe you're trying to do multiple manifestations or whatever, but this is all centered around income here. So it may be like because the Queen of Wands is all consuming, right? She's the queen that can't get out of people's heads, and it's just attraction. Okay, yeah. It's like always like people are always she's the one that walks in the room and everybody knows who they are. And she's the life of the party, but she's the most action. She takes up the space in the room. Yeah, income, money, materials, that's your biggest challenge, is because when you have that energy towards it, it's going towards something, right? So even though you want things to be magnetized to you, your attention towards it therefore pushes it away. When we reach for it, things back up. Just like when you reach for a man or a woman, they back up for, unless they're a Cancer, and then they lean in. Sorry, no Cancers, I'm just kidding. But I mean, that's the law of, like, right? So too much energy, too much fire, too much passion around finances. That's your biggest challenge, okay? Okay, let's go ahead with what's holding you back. I'm going to use the Moonology deck. What's holding you back? I'm glad we got through that. That was a really, because I'm like I said, I love the Queen of Wands. So nothing is yet in stone. What's holding you back? Okay, so I'm getting like a fear of change, not knowing which way is what, right? Nothing is set in stone, which can be terrifying, right? Especially to a Taurian, right? They like to have that, a bull doesn't do well in the sand, right? They want that firm ground underneath. They don't want things slipping and sliding, and they've got too much weight. They carry so much weight. They're such a grounded energy, right? And they're so stable and they're so reliable when they're, when they're in the upright. We don't like shadow Taurians, and they're possessive and all that other stuff. But a Taurian does not like their stability getting messed with. And I'm getting that from this right here. That's what's holding you back, is the fear of the unknown, and that there is no certainty, which is very Taurian. And that's something you can actually work well with. I think Scorpio is your 7th. And you might do well with like harnessing some Scorpio energy and being able to find out like what really, not just because, oh, I'm a Taurus, but what really is the underlying fear of the change. Because I can understand it, but there's also a lot of things. There's a lot of Taurians that are like, I know some pretty, like they're Taurians underneath, but they have gotten past a lot of their things of like fear of like change and being able to go out and do things. But it's definitely against the nature of a Taurus, especially if you have some really big placements. So just know thyself, right? And know that this is what's holding you back, is the uncertainty. And we all have to take a little, but we can make calculated risks. And Taurus, you do very well with research. So definitely, get to a point where you're gonna have to do a little bit of a Mr. Magoo trust fall type of thing, and that's okay. Okay, but it's okay to be not okay, like not knowing where you're gonna take the next step. Just do your calculating risk assessment, and then get it to like an 85% or a 70-30 split, and then just take a little bit of a risk. Okay. All right. Let's get into what's pushing you forward. That's the Animal Spirit deck. What's pushing you forward, and then we'll get some advice. Okay, this ran a little long, but we had to address the Jaguar in the room. Okay, what's pushing you forward? Oh, be peace. What's pushing you forward? I think you're trying to smooth things out. You want to make things right in this situation. Even with this Jaguar, you want to be, I'm getting a little people pleasing, honestly, with this. What's pushing you forward? Don't make that your motivation. Okay, these motivations need to come from within, not for a need to appease people. It's saying this is what's pushing you forward, which I love that as a, like, I want things to be smooth and peaceful and everything like that, but like just really make sure where, like sometimes I disagree with my guides or whatever, and it could just be saying like just chill out and stop stressing out about all of this as well. Is that, but this is like, that's what's behind the driving force of what's behind the horse. Hello, Taurian. I mean, I know it's not, but it's very similar. I get a big butt, let's just put it that, a big hindquarters when I think of a Taurus or a horse or something like that. And this is saying this is what's pushing you forward, and maybe this really is just like, maybe, especially this is where we get into that, like thinking about income, really thinking that like finances are going to be what's going to solve the problem. And that's not necessarily so, right? But finances will solve a lot of problems. So I'm not mad at that, because I mean, I definitely am doing everything I can to get multiple streams of income. Even they're all little bitty right now, they're going to become streams, even though they're just drips right now, right? And I'm working on it, and I feel like that's what you're doing here, Taurus, you know. But just again, because I absolutely identify, like, every time I like freak out about, like, I've got this bill coming up in 2 weeks, how am I going to pay it? And it's like, and it always comes in, the universe always provides, and I know this, but it still doesn't. But I'm learning, because then I'm like, okay, well, what's making me so, like, it's going into this and saying, what is the root cause of this? And it's like, maybe because my parents, like, we're so up and down with I never felt safe, like, with my ex. I mean, all of these things, I've had a lot of things happen to me, but it's like, this is the first time I've really taken my life into my own hands and put it into the universe's. And that's been and it's still, it's always a learning process. As much as I've let go, and I live out of 2 suitcases, and the things the people I've had to cut away and all this other stuff, I'm still having to deal with patterning and things, you know, my relationship with abundance, and feeling that I am worthy of it. And that, you know, like, I did this spread on myself earlier, and what was my biggest challenge? It was abundance is coming for you. And it was like, it's the fear of success. So therefore keeping ourselves small, right? But this weekend I was telling a lot of people, I purged a lot of stuff, and I realized where a lot of that fear was coming from. And even having a slight fear of getting bigger on social media. Why? Because there's one person that I really don't want, like, to even them to have the pleasure of ever seeing my face again, right? But that little pit of whatever, it's like keeping me from being everything that I've wanted to be, but terrified, because it's like, I don't want to, and it's like, I don't want to deal. And it's like, well, what is there to deal with it? Like, if this person ever came back into your life, well, first of all, they wouldn't have any access to you. But if they did, if they showed up somewhere, you're not the same person as you were when you were with them. So therefore there's no reason to be afraid, right? But I still have that little girl, like, wounding, like, I'm still afraid of the big bad wolf. And I realize I'm the farmer with the shotgun. Right? So believe in yourself, Taurus, okay? I love you so much. Let's get a little angel and ancestors advice. Spirit Fox, I love it. And Taurians, you might want, because, oh yeah, here it is. Trust your talents in changing times, right? Spirit Fox, nothing is set in stone. Fox Spirit is all about being quick on your feet, being nimble, being able to read the room when you walk into it, and be able to, like, even if you're not an extrovert or anything like that, but being able to be, nimble and malleable of not always like, this is the way it is and this is the way I've always known it, whatever. Being able to think outside the box, run around the box, lick the box, go under the box, go around the box, right? Think outside of the box, and also be comfortable and know in your own skin that if something changes, because it's going to change whether you want to or not, it's better that you do it than a tower come in. But whatever is going on, like, know that you have the know-how. Remember how you used to be the busser, I don't know, whatever you did when you were younger, whatever. Have faith that you have all the skills needed. And if not, there's YouTube University, right? In order to face whatever is coming up for you. Just because you're not feeling sure-footed, feel sure-footed in your abilities. And if you don't feel sure-footed in your own abilities, then that's something you definitely need to work on, right? And maybe you can find a hobby or something like that that really gives you, like, I don't know, start something just random that just, we need the tiny wins to pull out the things that we have inside of us. I've got my wigs. I want to get back into acting, and I forgot why the last time that I was on stage, I flubbed up because I had a big personal, someone walked in the room that wasn't supposed to be there, and I flubbed up on stage, and I haven't been back on stage, and that's like 15 years ago. I got to get over that shit, right? But I realized yesterday that's where it stemmed from. I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about it because I blocked it out. So pay attention, be alert, and stay nimble, Taurus.